One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights. This is the only show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of the investment banking process. I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Alex Mason and I am your host. And today we're talking about comparables. Today, talking specifically about this last step of your comparable companies analysis. So at this point, you've narrowed the universe of all companies down to just a handful that matter to your analysis. Then you gather the information for each of them, found the financial info, and put it all together. At that point, you then benchmarked key financial information to compare and understand where your target company is at versus where your comparables are at across a variety of different metrics. Now, your job is to put this together to figure out just how much your target company is worth. And of course, we can't come up with a precise number. It's unadvisable to do that, but you want to come up with a range. And it's helpful to do this visually. So what we're going to do at this point is create a chart. And some people call this a football field or football chart. But effectively what this is, it's a series of bars, like a clustered bar chart, if you can imagine that. And this chart is going to show the low end of your valuation range, the high end of the valuation range, as well as other statistically important metrics, such as your median and your mean. So you want to mark where your target company lies in this spectrum as you see it. And you can do this for different valuation metrics. For example, we've talked in the past on the show about different valuation metrics like price to earnings ratio could be a good metric. Or another very popular one, very common one that I've used before is enterprise value to EBITDA or EV to EBITDA metric. And so let's go ahead and say that you are nearly done with your analysis and you say, okay, I'm going to look at the valuation range for the EV to EBITDA using the last 12-month financials for all of my companies. So, okay, well, what do? So on your bar chart, at the very end of your bar, you'll have whatever is the lowest EV to EBITDA multiple in your set. That's going to be at the bottom or at the left. And then on the far right is going to be whichever company had your highest EV to EBITDA multiple. So let's say you had 5 comparables and your target company within your set. So you have one at one end, one at another end, and then you would also want to mark on your chart where the mean value is and where the median value is in terms of your valuation. So maybe it's a 10x EV to EBITDA multiple on the low end, a 13x EV to EBITDA multiple on the high end. And maybe your median is 12 and your mean is 12.5 or something to that effect. So you've got this visually, and now you can come up with what is an implied valuation for your target company. You could do this by looking at the mean or the median or some other metric, but let's just say that you want to come up with a general range. So maybe you look at the low end, that's 10x, and you say, okay, I'm going to multiply this 10x multiple by the EBITDA of my target company, and that's going to give me an implied enterprise value for my target company on the low end. And then you can do the same thing for the high end too. Multiply your multiple with the EBITDA to get enterprise value. And so that can give you the range. And of course, you can make this as tight or as broad as you want, depending on the number of comparable companies in your set, which ones you think are most relevant. And also you could look at things like the median, multiply the median multiple by EBITDA. So that's what you want to do. And you'll get an implied valuation range. Another way to take the step further is, let's say you're working with a publicly traded company, and what you really want to do is find the share price or implied share price. And so let's say if you want to continue with this example that we're just going through, EV to EBITDA. So if you multiply that multiple by EBITDA, you're going to get enterprise value. So you got to work your way from enterprise value over to share price. Well, how do you do that? Take your enterprise value, go ahead, and what you're going to do is subtract out your net debt. So remember, net debt is just your debt minus the cash on the balance sheet. So just in one subtraction operation, you can get down to equity value from enterprise value. So enterprise value minus your net debt gives you your equity value. And now you've got your equity value implied for the company, and then just divide that by the number of shares outstanding, and you have an implied share price. So in this manner, you can do a comparable companies analysis to get an implied share price range for your target company, given a specific set of comparables and given a specific valuation metric that you're valuing it off of. In this case, EV to EBITDA. And of course, you could do other things like EV to sales or price to earnings, etc. So that's how you do it. You come up with a valuation range based on putting your multiples together, coming up with your chart, and then just using a little bit of math to figure out what the value is. And again, value could be measured from an enterprise value perspective, an equity value perspective, a share price perspective. You may just want to do all three, but that can get you pretty far in terms of understanding the range of valuation for your target company. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the last step. That's the final step of this little series we've been doing in terms of coming up with your comparables and figuring out your valuation range for your target. So I hope that was helpful in terms of understanding how comparable companies analysis actually works, what the steps are that you need to do in order to actually do it. Of course, it's never quite the same listening to this on a podcast versus doing it yourself. So I encourage you to attempt this yourself with a set of companies and just pull up Excel and start messing around and see what you come up with. So that's what I got for you today. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing week and have an amazing weekend to come. My name is Alex Mason. I'll see you next time. And thank you for rating the show. Thank you for your messages. I really appreciate it. Take care.